Alright, hello everyone and welcome to game 3 in this Clan War series. This is going to be Mouse versus Root. We have RootDrewbie spawning as the red Terran player at the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have MouzMana, not MouseTosh, spawning as the green Protoss player at the 12 o'clock position. I know a couple times I am going to say Tosh, and I really do mean MouzMana. My apologies, but sometimes I just read what's there and it confuses me. Anyways, RootDrewbie spawning here at the 8 o'clock position. Meanwhile, 12 o'clock location here from Mana, and this should make for a very fast matchup here on Lost Temple. Because of the relatively close spawning distances, I believe the walking distance when it's an ally spawn like this is almost as close or as close as Steps of War. So that's one of the things that you have to be careful about, especially here on Lost Temple, as the spawning locations may be relatively far if it is a cross map or if it's a cross map spawn, but you also have to worry about whether or not it is going to be an ally spawn and then responding accordingly. And both players, I expect, after they do that early scouting, should be going for more gateways and more barracks. And we may see Drewbie at some point try to do a wall off, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So it doesn't look like there will be a wall off anytime soon coming in. And what essentially will happen after that, excuse me, and what essentially will happen is that Drewbie will need to get a lot of defensive structures if Mana does try to go for any 4-gate or even a 3-gate and a robo. That should be pretty effective, and we'll see what the strategy will be, as now Mana is going to simply walk up this ramp, get as much information as he needs to, sees that there is a barracks, sees that there is a refinery, knows that it is not going to be a double racks play, and now knows that there is at least going to be some sort of tech coming in, tech labs, and now in comes a probe now trying to fight back against this SCV. SCV looks like he won out a little bit on that battle, and the SCV now returning back to the mineral line. Back over here, Marines currently being trained, upgrading to an orbital command, and now in the base of Tosh. Tosh is now waiting for 150 minerals, should be going for a cybernetics core. There it is, there's that cybernetics core, not training up a zealot just quite yet, as this one probe's pretty much getting as much information as he wants to. Drewbie may be able to get this probe kill, and yes, he does get the scouting probe. That is very important to get that early scouting probe out. That SCV or that probe will not be able to mine any additional minerals, and you get a little bit of an economic lead just by that. We'll see if Drewbie will be able to save his starting and scouting SCV, as the SCV just going to wander around the map at this point. We do see back over here of now another pylon being placed down here. Curious as to what this is for. Perhaps early detection against any Reapers. Reapers normally like to come up along this side over here, but because this is an ally spawn, I wouldn't be surprised if they simply just, straight attack moved into here or try to come in from this side as well. Currently chrono boosting a stalker, getting up 1 warp gate, and still training up more and more probes. If he does stop his probe production at 21 or 22, he may be trying to go for an all-in 4-gate, but I don't think he's going to be doing that, as we now see the robotics facility coming online. So Tosh getting that robotics facility will be able to get an observer out. Meanwhile, we now see the 111 or Destiny Cloudfist build, as so many people like to remind me, and I don't even think that name makes sense. But anyways, the 111 build, and going for that starport. We may be seeing a tech lab at some point, and a tech lab would indicate that we are going for Banshees and cloaked Banshees, but with that early robotics facility, it would pretty much be shut down by that one observer, which should be chrono boosted out of that robotics facility in just mere moments. Drewbie about done with this starport. We do see that the tech lab is currently still being built. Is he going to lift it off? Yeah, lift it off, wait for that tech lab to get done, and now do a little bit of a swap there, as Marines are now in that bunker on that front door, and now using another factory as part of that wall. So it will be very difficult for Zealots to get a decent surround, as they're going to be forced to walk around this way. Now one SCV once again on the move, both sides playing into one base play. And now with this observer coming out in just a moment from Mana, I think Mana will definitely have the advantage. As long as he starts increasing his gateway production, he needs to get, I believe, 1 to 2 more gateways in order to be able to compete with this build that Drewbie is currently going on. But we don't see Drewbie neither training up that much as well. So a little curious as to what Drewbie is going for. Perhaps just investing very heavily into that Banshee, hoping that that Banshee will be able to pay off. and I don't think it will. Not, especially not as we already have one observer. The observer, I believe, was able to see that one Banshee now on the move, and the Banshee, and now the observer now returning home in order to be able to gain sight onto that Banshee. The Banshee is going to be perhaps coming from this side, and now we should be seeing some stalkers warping in. Yes, Tosh already warping in stalkers, already has an additional gateway coming online in just a moment, and now in comes that Banshee. The Banshee, however, the cloaking research is not yet completed. And will this Banshee be able to get any serious damage out? Perhaps 2 to 3 probe kills, but I don't think not much more than that, as these Banshees are simply going to be able to get underneath that one. The Stalker's going to be able to get that one Banshee, and now we see DrewDrewbie trying to fight back against 3 Stalkers, and that's not going to work out all too well, and DrewDrewbie completely messing up there, not microing that, and that was a definite problem. Did he cancel the cloaking research? No, he did not cancel the cloaking research. So that one Banshee was in fact a very expensive unit. We now have a fresh Banshee coming out, but that fresh Banshee currently seen on only 1 kill, and DrewDrewbie has not dealt the damage that he needs to for so heavily investing into that cloaked Banshee so far. We now also see a Raven, and now transitioning into mass marine play. So we are gaining a tech lab. We should be getting some reactors down over here, and then moving out with a very, very strong marine medevac Raven army. Most likely we may even see a reactor swap onto that medevac in order to start double training them, and now we just need to see if we can get enough energy onto that Raven in order to really make it worthwhile. This one Banshee still racking up more and more kills. I'm currently sitting at 2 kills so far, but was able to at least put a little bit of pressure there, and now we see another observer trying to come in. However, it will not be able to see all too much as this one Banshee is still flying around. One observer quickly getting taken down over here by these Marines, and Marauder obviously can't shoot air, so the Marauder did not help in that engagement. Banshee now deciding to come home, watch the front door, as both sides are just still playing Sim StarCraft. Sitting in their bases, we see a little bit, or an army advantage coming in from Mana. Meanwhile, resource advantage currently belongs to DrewDrewbie, as DrewDrewbie is now mining off of 16 mineral patches, while Tosh is still mining off of 8. DrewDrewbie also has a 7 harvester bonus at this point. I don't see any siege tanks though, so this is a bit of a surprise. We now see that the starport is double training Vikings, so it is going to be double Vikings, and I don't see any Colossi or Void Rays to really justify those Vikings. Immortals have a very, very easy time dealing with Vikings when they're on ground, and now in comes the Stalker army. The Stalker army does have a fair amount of armor just because of that Guardian shield, and now in comes the Immortal as well. The Banshee quickly getting the cloak in, and now this one point defense drone intercepting a lot of the attacks. That point defense drone will get taken down, and while it is a great job by Tosh simply just attacking, moving in with this army. Are we going to get a force field? That one Guardian, or that one Sentry still fighting here, and will get taken down in just a mere moment. No, not taken down. There it goes. Just continue to just pull back there, but this one Banshee is still racking up the kills, and DrewDrewbie is simply not quite sure what he can do at this stage. DrewDrewbie being forced to lift off with his orbital command. The refineries here will get shut down, and now Mana has the economic advantage as these units are once again on the move. Barracks down over here trying to train up more Marines. It looks as though DrewDrewbie trying to get up a strong economy, and now SCV is trying to pull off the line in order to train up even more units, but things are not looking good. Army-wise, you can see 1725 versus 1850, or 1725 versus 700 now, as Immortals are continuing to fight their way through, and DrewDrewbie says GG. So DrewDrewbie losing to Tosh here, or DrewDrewbie losing to Mana, here on Lost Temple. Protoss versus Terran. Yeah, I need to get a little bit of rest after this. Been casting a lot of games. So Protoss versus Terran here on Lost Temple. Now I will really do a recap. DrewDrewbie opened up with a standard 1-1-1 Destiny Cloudfist build, went for early Banshees, but those early Banshees really didn't pay off, especially as Mono had gotten that robotics facility early and also got that one observer relatively early as well. Another issue that DrewDrewbie had is DrewDrewbie did not micro this Banshee when it was over here. 3 Stalkers were simply able to shoot that Banshee out of the sky so quickly. The Banshee could have escaped, perhaps moved away, gotten repaired, and then added to a lot of the DPS in the main fight here. And Banshees in the air, they have relatively high DPS, I believe 20 damage per second against Stalkers and Zealots if you don't account for armor, and that would have greatly changed the battle here. And because of that, the Immortals, Stalkers, and Zealots were simply able to overwhelm the positioning here. Drewbie did have 1 point defense drone, but really that point defense drone was only able to shut down about 380 points of damage before the Stalkers decided to focus down that 1 point defense drone as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between MouzMana and RootDrewbie here on Lost Temple. Game 4, I believe, is scheduled to be played. So it's going to be QXC versus, I don't remember, but I do know it is on Delta Quadrant. And thanks for watching once again.